I actually intended to be an adult writer all along. I'd grown up reading the big guys in fantasy and stuff, and the YA was actually more the accident. What happened is that the first good idea that I had, I thought suited a YA character and a YA setting better. So I ended up writing The Bone Tiki as a young adult because it needed a young adult protagonist for the story to work. If it had been an adult character, it just wouldn't have worked. And so that then led to this kind of stream of YA, but arriving as an adult, you know, in the adult fantasy zone was always the intention. It was really born of living in India. My wife works for New Zealand Immigration, and we met about 6 months before she was asked to transfer to India. And at that stage we were really only dating, and we decided that that she should give it a go, and then I'll come out and have a holiday with her and see how that went. And I came out. The holiday was awesome. I met the New Zealand cricket team playing at the ICC Champions Trophy, and we went around the Taj and all those sorts of things. So naturally I proposed, as you do when you go onto something as good as that. Oh, the relationship was great as well. And so it kind of went from there, is that I then packed up my New Zealand life and shifted to India and with her, and saw out the remainder of the 4 years of her posting. And of course, when you're in that sort of totally different environment from what you've grown up with, growing up in New Zealand is very Western culture, sort of somewhere halfway between, I guess, New Zealand, between England and the United States in terms of its cultural heritage and drawings. To then step into a developing nation with such a huge cultural history as India, it's hugely influential on your thinking, and it also coincided with, for me, the publication of The Bone Tiki. So I started to take myself seriously as a writer, whereas it just been sort of like a hobby prior to that. And then, there was all of this inspiration. So out of that came the India series, the YA India series, Return of Ravana, which I wrote over there, and also the ideas for Moontide. And it's about seeing this sort of Eastern opulence that you've never really been quite aware of, as well as alongside it all of the poverty and these people in their different clothing and their different situations in life, and you start to speculate about what their life might be, and you start to think about the inequalities between the West and the East in terms of material wealth, and also the differences in the way of thinking and culture. My degree's in history and classical studies, so I kind of had a sort of a leaning towards those sorts of thoughts anyway. So out of that sort of came the genesis of the idea of this kind of East meets West culture clash idea that became Moontide.